Hi everyone, this lecture video is going to cover Chapter 5, Setting Up Your Office, Chapter 9, Organization is Key, and Chapter 13, Err on the Side of Caution. So under the lessons, you can see the three chapters listed here. So if you click on this, as always, it explains this week you'll learn about how to set up your office equipment and supplies, and software, and staying organized. So it's going to cover all of the items you need to be able to successfully accomplish all of those things. We are spending 1 week on this chapter, so there's only going to be one assignment. It's going to be kind of in template form, and we'll get to that in a minute, and it's called My VA Office. So in the materials folder for this week, I provided some links on how to stay organized. Is your computer ready? The tools that will help you to stay organized, and internet security for like you and your business website and your computer. Just some quick links to all of those resources. Your textbook for these three chapters is actually pretty good. It does talk about a couple of things that are outdated, such as like answering machines, and I believe it also talks about needing a Rolodex. So those are probably the only two things in here that are a little outdated. Besides a typewriter, we definitely don't need a typewriter anymore. So I wanted to make sure I provided some updated links on office equipment that you'll need to buy, software that you'll need to stay organized, and how to set up and protect your computer. So if we start with chapter 5, this whole chapter talks about how to set up your office. It talks about analyzing the space that you're working in, and it focuses on making sure you're not working at your kitchen table. Like, do you have a place in your home, or maybe you already run at a small space, that you can go to quietly run your business? And if you do have an office in your home, what does that office currently look like? Do you have a desk? What kind of desk do you have? Do you have one that you can, is it a stand-up desk where you can stand up or sit down when you need to? Do you have proper lighting? Do you have dual monitors? Do you have a chair? Do you have filing cabinets? Do you have storage? It talks about all of the things that you need to be comfortable to run your business successfully without getting cluttered and overwhelmed. It also talks about the computer, and then it covers a couple of ways down. What type of computer do you actually need? So take inventory. Are you running on an older laptop, or do you have a desktop? Do you have dual monitors? So for me, my home office setup is I bought a connector, and I connect my laptop to a very large Dell monitor that sits on my desk. I also have a stand-up desk. So I can stand when, I'm tired of sitting for so long, or I can sit when I need to sit. And I have an all-in-one printer that can fax if I need to. It can scan, it can copy, it can print photos, it can also copy in color or black and white. So you have to think about all of those things that you're going to need, and you don't have to buy very expensive printers or different things like that right off the bat. You can buy maybe a lower end model until you get your business off the ground. But your business is solely going to run probably off of your computer. So you are definitely going to want to make sure, if you scroll down here, it talks about how to buy a computer right here. So you definitely need to make sure that when you're looking online at HPs or Dells, or maybe you know how to build one from scratch, that it has everything you need. What kind of processor? How much memory does it have? What kind of hard drive is it using? So like, I had to take my laptop and get a solid state hard drive installed in it, because back when we were traveling, I had to take it with me a lot, and a solid state hard drive is much better for traveling. There's not a lot of moving parts to it. Do you have secondary drives? So I have a 1 terabyte external drive that's hooked up to my computer that I save a lot of my things to. Kind of video card do you have? Check the wireless card. Just different things like that that are you might need, especially if you're going to be recording a lot of videos or downloading a lot of large files, Photoshop files, video files, different things like that. So you definitely want to make sure you have a computer that is robust and can handle everything that you need. And again, think about whether you need 2 monitors or not. You really can accomplish a lot and see things a lot clearer if you have a larger desktop monitor that kind of sits on your desktop and doesn't go anywhere with you. So back up into chapter 5. The other thing that this starts to get into, as we mentioned, furniture and computers, the colored printer. What other items can you think of that you might need for your office that kind of fall under this category here? Like telephone. Are you going to use your personal cell phone? Are you going to set up something with Google Voice so they don't actually have access to your personal cell phone number? Are you going to get a completely separate cell phone for your business? So these are some things that you need to think of. The other thing you need to start thinking about is what kind of software do you need? So you've already determined most of the services that you're going to offer right off the bat for your business. So now it's time to start thinking about, do you have the software needed to accurately and professionally perform those services? Like, do you need to get a new subscription to Microsoft? Because once you're not a student anymore, if you're using the student version of Microsoft Office, that's going to be obsolete and you're going to have to purchase it. Do you need to purchase Adobe? Do you need Photoshop? Think about the types of different softwares that you're going to need in order to successfully perform the services. What kind of email are you going to use? Are you going to use Gmail? Are you going to use Outlook? What kind of email service are you going to use? Antivirus software, we'll get into that in a little bit later, and then making sure you have your computer protected. And then calendars. So again, are we using Gmail calendar? Are we using an Outlook calendar? Is there a different type of software that you want to use altogether to learn about, to keeping track of your calendar? And the other thing you need to start thinking about is all the office supplies that you need. Paper, ink cartridges, envelopes, pens, papers, highlighters, labels, staplers, sticky notes, paper clips, all that little stuff that you sometimes don't think about. So prime example, like I never had a stapler up until recently and I always needed one. It's just one of those things where everything is so electronic nowadays, but you still do have a need to send things, like maybe you're going to send a handwritten note. We talked about that on how to make your clients feel special. So you need letterhead, you need a nice pen to write with, you need envelopes, different things like that. So keep in mind about the random office supplies that you might need. And again, guys, just different miscellaneous things you can think of. We do not need a typewriter. Calculator, you have one built into your computer, hopefully, but maybe you need a more sophisticated calculator depending upon what you're doing. There are still things that you can burn with CDs and DVDs, so maybe you need to think about different stuff like that. Under gadgets, while most of us do not use a Rolodex anymore, you might want to keep a paper copy of all your clients' email addresses, phone numbers, even if you type it in Word and print it out, because let's be real, sometimes software fails us. So it might be nice to have hard copies of records as well. The other thing I found super helpful over the last couple of years is headsets. So whether it's one that plugs into your computer or it's wireless headphones that you can that are connected through Bluetooth for your cell phone, this allows people to hear you so much clearer if you use a headset, whether it's plugged in or whether it's wireless. So think about whether you need a headset as well. And then you guys can read Making the Space Your Own. This just talks about decorating your office, making sure you have proper decor, staying connected with getting really good internet service and different things like that. And then if you scroll down, this talks about how to buy a computer, which we covered already when we were talking at the top. The other thing you might want to keep in mind when you cover this is how many USB ports your computer needs. So for example, mine currently has 3, and then I actually have a USB port off of my computer that holds an additional 4 items for that are USB, and I use all of them. So you might want to consider getting a USB extender as well. And now, organized your office, you have all of your stuff. Now you need to focus on how you're going to keep you and all your client information organized. So this chapter kind of leaves it wide open. It talks about cutting down the paper trail, but I know some of us, including me, I love to keep paper records along with electronic records. And I also keep a backup of the backup. So I have an external hard drive that has a backup. I have a backup on the computer, and then the backup backs up someplace else as well. So keeping in mind how you're going to stay organized. Do you need filing cabinets? Do you need storage shelves? Do you need folders? Do you need labels? different things like that. How are you going to keep all of your client information safe? So are you going to store their passwords to all of their social media accounts or to maybe some software that they gave you access to? How are you going to protect that from other people having access to it? So, and your own personal information as well. So keep that in mind. Paper shredder. And you might have this already for personal use, but keeping in mind paper shredders to shred information that you no longer need. The other thing you need to keep in mind is how you're going to manage your time. So working from home can go one of two ways. You can procrastinate or you can be consumed all day and all night. So remember to take breaks. Maybe set some kind of timer. Maybe figure out a software that's going to allow you to time track for you. Or maybe you set a timer on your phone. Are you going to figure out a software that's going to allow you to create to-do lists? Like Google or Outlook has a great to-do list feature. How are you going to keep track of your emails? So you're going to create folders. And again, this all depends on the software that you're going to use to do that with. And then here's the time tracking paragraph that it was talking about. And so last but not least, chapter 13 is going to cover how to keep your computer safe. So think of, like I said, backing up things, keeping usernames and passwords safe. What kind of virus protection do you have on your computer? Is it paid for? Is it free? What kind of items come with that virus protection? Is it just basic protection? So you really need to look into all of this before you start storing important information for other people on your computer. The last couple of pages talk about physical safety and personal safety. So I would never let a client come into your personal home, even if they're local. You can, if a local client wants to meet you, go meet them somewhere in a public location. Please do not put your personal home address on your business website or any of your correspondence. My suggestion would be to get a PO box. That's to keep you and your family safe. And just so people do not randomly show up at your house. That's both personal and physical safety. So once you read over those chapters and the items in the materials folder, like I mentioned, you have one assignment for this week. And this is called My VA Office. So we learned that setting up your office, staying organized, and protecting your information along with your clients is extremely important to the success of your business. So after you reviewed all of these items, you are going to use this below template down here, and you are going to fill in the information needed for me and you, listing clear items and explanations that you need for your VA office. Guys, please feel free to add sections, reformat the template, but you can't delete any of the items that I already asked of you. But please provide any extra information based on the need of your business, because the needs of your business are different than everybody else in this class. So you need to make sure that you list everything that you'll need to be successful. So here is what the file looks like. So you're going to put the name of your business up here. And I just use style headings to set this up. Leave the My VA Office. And so here's how I kind of broke this down. So here's essentials. And then again, please list anything that I did not include in here that you need for your own office. Organization. So this is like how all the ways that you're going to stay organized, keeping all your information organized, your client's information, passwords, software storage, both virtual and physical, and time management software, etc. And then the last thing I want you to talk about is how you plan to keep your computer, your client's information, your information safe. Also, talk about how you're going to back up your files, emails, hard drives, and etc. And again, these 3 titles are required. The items that are listed here are required, but please feel free to add any other information that you want that is specific to the needs of your business. So if you have any questions as you work through these 3 chapters, please contact me.